AM 1220, 98.1 FM, KHTS, your hometown station, beginning to heat up here in Santa Clarita today. Stay cool, stay indoors, keep your pets indoors if you can, and make sure you hydrate. Never can have too much water on a day like today. Carl Goldman with you. We are going to be doing a special report, and right now, as we're getting ready for school to start, and I know many of you are driving around taking care of your last minute stuff as the countdown really hits zero and school begins to start. We're spending time talking with principals all around the entire district for both high school, and then also talking to our superintendents in the elementary school district. In case you didn't know, we have 4 elementary school districts here in the Santa Clarita Valley, and really a 5th one if you count Aqua Dulce. But here in the Santa Clarita Valley, there's the Castaic District, there's Sulphur Springs, which covers the Canyon Country east side of town, there's Saugus, and of course there's what may be our oldest district, I'm not quite sure, but I think it is the Newhall School District. And we now have a new superintendent. Changing of the guards is Jeff Pelzel, and we're going to spend some time with him, get to know more about the district, get to know a little bit about him, more importantly, get to know what he has in store for our kids here in the Valley. And Jeff, first of all, welcome, and you are no stranger to Santa Clarita because you were hired originally by Mark Winger, who has been an institution here in Santa Clarita, and then later worked under Paul Cadero, who was Mark's replacement as superintendent for Newhall as the assistant superintendent. Now the board has handed the baton to you.
I'm so honored. Yeah, I've had the opportunity the last 4 years to serve as the assistant superintendent of instructional services in the Newhall School District. And I just feel honored that the board has entrusted this opportunity to lead the district in the next phase of where we're planning to go.
So as we said, the Santa Clarita is divided up among the 4 elementary school districts. How many elementary schools are under the Newhall umbrella?
We have 10 elementary schools in the Newhall School District.
And they really range all the way from Bridgeport, and you go all the way on the west side. So your boundaries, what's the farthest west?
The farthest west school would be Oak Hills, would be the furthest west, and then we go all the way over to McGrath Elementary School is our furthest.
And what's the oldest? I'm giving you quiz questions.
Newhall Elementary would be the oldest school, which is what the district is founded under.
And what do you know what year that opened approximately, or what decade?
I think it was in the early 1900s, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact date off the top of my head.
What I do know is the oldest elementary school wasn't part of the district, is actually Sulphur Springs, which has gone now. I was there for the 100th anniversary, and that seems like centuries ago, so that was a while ago. But yeah, Sulphur Springs was the first elementary school here in Santa Clarita.
Yeah, I know we started as a one schoolhouse building, which is what our logo is designed behind. We have that one schoolhouse look, which we adopted, I want to say 4 years ago when we revamped our logo and motto for the district.
So Newhall, and I know you work really, really closely with all of the other school districts here, and what's very cool, also in case you didn't know out there, we have one school district for junior high and high school. That's our William S. Hart School District. So all of the elementary schools feed into the William S. Hart School District, and then the majority of graduates from the William S. Hart School District move on to College of the Canyons. And we've seen over the years the tremendous partnership and outreach and cooperation going on between the elementary schools, the high school district, and of course COC.
Yeah, and it's just a great opportunity already having prior relationships with Steve Doyle and Kathy Kawaguchi. I know them well, and interestingly enough, I had in early July, I spent 2 days with Colleen Hawkins at a new superintendent conference up in Sacramento to spend some time getting opportunity to know her and see where her vision is as she comes on board as the new superintendent in Saugus.
Yeah, in fact, she's been invited and will be coming on our airwaves shortly, so we can get to hear about Saugus as well. Share with us some of your challenges right now.
Well, I think, in Newhall and I think most of our elementary districts, the greatest challenge has been the declining enrollment. We've seen a steady decrease in our enrollment over the last 3 to 4 years. Sort of the nadir when we'll hit that bottom end of the decline is in 2021 is the projection, and then we'll start to grow up with the expansion of the 5 points development and those kind of things. So that is obviously a great challenge because that is what drives our funding is the student enrollment that we have. We've worked very hard as a district to provide opportunities for families to join our district, and that's been very successful. But when your funding is driven by enrollment, that is a challenge, and you're trying to sustain your programs. Also, while you're dealing with rising costs for the STRS and PERS retirement benefits and all of those kind of things, that's just a challenge for the district to maintain the high quality programs that we have in place.
We, KHTS has had an annual, and you probably know about it, you haven't been on it yet, but in fact we're going to get you to commit to going on it for next year. We do an annual trip to Sacramento every year, and I know both Mark Winger and Paul Cadero have been on it numerous times, as has other superintendents. We go up and advocate on about 120, not about it, actually 120, we have a wait list now for that. 120 community leaders go up advocating on behalf of issues impacting Santa Clarita. Democrats go up, Republicans go up. It's really focusing on the main issues impacting Santa Clarita that Sacramento has a say in. And of course, education is right up there on the top because Sacramento has a big say in the funding, particularly for K through 12 coming down, as well, of course, as the high schools. But we always do at least one issue impacting the K through 12 group. And what I learned over the years, and I haven't checked it in the last few years, so maybe you can update me. I learned that the funding that you get from Sacramento is based on a formula. And back about 5 or 6 years when we were really pushing hard on this, the formula came to about $5,200 and something dollars per student that you were getting. And when I say you, all of us were getting here in Santa Clarita, yet a school in the Los Angeles school system for that same student was getting about $16,000 something dollars. And you can tell that money was well spent. Not. Is that discrepancy still there?
Well, I know I don't know the particular funding for the LAUSD students. We don't receive those additional concentration funds that, if based upon your free and reduced population, your EL population, those kind of things. We do receive supplementary funds, which gives us additional funds as a district. Our funding per student, I think, is around $7,800 per student. The greatest challenge for California in general is that per student allocation. We're down in, I want to say, 42nd out of 50 states. If we went just to the median or the middle, the mean of where the states are across the United States, our funding would be so significantly different. We wouldn't be talking about the issues with declining enrollment and those kind of things. And when we talk about negotiations and salary teacher compensation and those kind of things, it would be a totally different ballgame.
And without getting into the numbers specifically, although 7,800 certainly a lot better than it was a few years ago, there's still a discrepancy, right? It's not an equal playing field. Santa Clarita is not getting its fair share of funding per student. Am I right there?
Yeah, I believe that because of the different allocations and things that you bring in, it all plays a part in the total funding that you receive.
And the other big issue we've had over the years that we've taken to Sacramento is the funding for special ed.
Yes.
And that the funding for special ed really had to come out of the pockets of all of us locally. So you're taking from your left pocket and putting into your right pocket to meet both the state and federal requirements for special ed, and yet you're not getting additional dollars from the state. Is that still a challenge?
It is a challenge. I don't like to use the word, people use the word encroachment. I do not like to use that word. I like to use its general fund contributions that end up coming out of our general funds to support those programs. But you're correct. When you're looking at the amount of support that you need in certain programs across our district, we have a variety of different special day classes. And when you look at the adults and the additional programming and even the facilities that are required, it definitely is a challenge when you don't get that enhanced funding for special education.
Your hometown station, 943, Carl Goldman with you here on KHTS. We're talking with Jeff Pelzel, who's the superintendent, newly handed the baton as superintendent for our Newhall Elementary School District, one of 4 districts here in the state, talking about, we're going to find out about his vision for where Newhall is going to go in elementary schools and education in general is going to go. And you're going to want to stick around because you're going to want to find out also some specific programs that the Newhall district has. And I want to ask him also about, these are all teasers for you, by the way. I want to find out about the new theater as well, because I haven't
Fantastic.
stepped in there, but I've heard nothing but incredible reports about that, and a lot of us aren't aware of it. But I just want to stick with the funding for 1 minute and the special ed. The other challenge we discovered a number of years ago, talking about the special ed, is because Santa Clarita has such stellar schools regardless. K through 12, COC, Master's College, and of course Cal Arts. Yeah, I was thinking about the Cal Arts latest graduation. That's why I was stumbling there. But that's a whole other story. What I discovered and what we discovered as a group when we went up to Sacramento too is that the proportion of kids that fall into the special ed category per capita, per population, is much higher up here. And it's not because of the water we're drinking. It's because what we've discovered is a lot of families find out that their kid, when they're very young, has special ed needs. They're down below in the valley or in the LA school system, which doesn't have the best of special ed needs. And so they're making the move up here specifically to put that kid into a special ed program. And that's what's caused that influx and that special higher ratio. Is that still the case?
Well, I do think, we pride ourselves in providing a high quality education to all students in our district, regardless of what program is being served. And we've worked really hard to create that engaging environment for kids, regardless of their ability or disability. And so we do see families wanting to come into our district because of the programming that we have in place for our students.
Let's jump then over to the theater. Tell us about that.
Oh,
And when do I get to go see it?
You give a call, we'll go see it. We have Tom Lund, who's our theater manager, we've hired as a district, which is a great asset for us. The theater is unbelievable. I mean, it's gone from what was a warehouse storage facility for us for a number of years.
And where is it? Exactly.
It's at Newhall Elementary School, attached right to the school, and it is absolutely state-of-the-art, beautifully designed. The reconstruction and reconfiguring of that, the adding of dressing rooms and those kind of things, it is absolutely a beautiful facility, and we're starting to use it more and more with different events. There's outside programming that's actually taking place now. In fact, we're going to hold our Newhall School District Welcome Back meeting. We're going to hold it there because we want to showcase what that looks like. And when we have our parent summit this fall, we're going to hold it there because we want to showcase, because the taxpayers paid for this, and we want them to see what a great resource they have funded for us as a school district.
The seating capacity for that's in the 500s?
Yeah, it's in the upper, I believe it's in the upper 500s.
And for those who have been to it, they said it's just absolutely beautiful.
Oh, it's absolutely stunning. You got these great seats, the acoustics. We just continue as we figure out additional things, buying additional equipment as we see fit. But it is absolutely stunning.
Jeff, you mentioned lower enrollment, and I know one element that's a tender spot that is impacting low enrollment as well is both homeschooling and the charter schools. And Dr. Winger, Mark Winger, was a big advocate not to have charter schools. He was really outspoken with that, and it's actually one of the places we disagreed with, or at least we had friendly discussions to agree to, not confrontate. We both agreed to disagree, which is the way we should be doing all kinds of discussions right now. First of all, is that still impacting you?
Well, the Albert Einstein school that's directly across from the district office is closed down, so it will not be in place this coming year. In fact, by springtime, we were having a number of the families from Einstein joining our district, and then over the course of the summer, we've had additional. It is, I think we have a challenge in terms of just creating an awareness for families in terms of the programs that we offer that, quite frankly, are very unique for a school district. To have dedicated music teachers. We have 2 general music teachers that work with kids in kindergarten through 3rd grade, and then we have 3 full-time instrumental music teachers that work with kids at least a half a day during the course of the week, and they come back and work with kids specific to the instrument that they're working on. It's a very, very unique program, and the fact that we have 2 dedicated art teachers that work with kids and provide full-blown art lessons in the classroom over the course of the year, and these dedicated science classrooms and those kind of things. There's just an awareness for people that, wow, what you can get here is probably what feels like a private school or a special, unique programming, but it's offered at all 10 of our school sites across the district.
And your background, you went through school in Washington State.
I
and
did.
Then taught math.
Yes.
Math and psychology.
Psychology.
That's
I did.
An interesting combo.
Yeah. I had my major was mathematics. My minor was in psychology. I originally went to college thinking I was going to pursue psychology, and then just all of a sudden fell in love with the idea of becoming a classroom teacher, coaching high school sports and those kind of things. And spent 8 years in the classroom, and then eventually became a high school assistant principal in 2 different districts for a very fairly short period of time. And then spent 8 amazing years as a middle school principal. One of the best things I ever did in my career. Loved that age group of kids. And then had the opportunity to go to the district office in a very large district up in Washington State. We had 28,000 students, 42 schools, over 3,000 teachers, and I was the director of professional development in that school district. So it was a great opportunity before transitioning down here to a district that is an absolute perfect fit for my vision in terms of teaching and learning.
So with the math background, so you've got Sigmund Freud on one shoulder on the psychology side and Albert Einstein on the other, and that would be an interesting conversation.
It's very interesting because you do a lot of those different learning styles, those different personality traits, and some people are more skewed towards one. Mine is very, very circular. In terms of balancing that out, and I'll tell you, that degree in psychology pays out when you're talking about leadership and dealing with people.
I can imagine. So the Saugus District has a couple of STEM schools. Talk about what kind of programs do you have on the math and sciences?
So, in terms of, we have began spending the last 3 years rolling out our next generation science standards. We have 2 district science coaches in place, and they support the implementation of the new science standards across our district. As of this year, we will now have rolled out the standards in kindergarten through 5th grade, and we have science labs in each school. We don't have, in particular, a STEM school. We're just integrating science across all 10 of our school sites. And then in terms of mathematics, we have been hitting that hard for the past 3 years in regards to our rolling out of our new curriculum, and we're seeing the results in terms of our math achievement data. It's very rare for districts to have the math data be equivalent to the reading data that's coming out, the English language arts data, and our data, when you look at it, the data that's going to be coming out, if I put the numbers in front of you, you wouldn't be able to tell which was the reading results and which is the math. They're that good.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's awesome.
So looking forward, in fact, we had Dr. Diane Van Hooker was in here this week, and I tease her because back in the early 90s, we did a video of Santa Clarita in the year 2000. This was from 91. And that video you can see on YouTube. Just Google, in fact, go Google Diane Van Hook, Santa Clarita in the year 2000. She nailed everything, pinned down everything. She invented the internet before Al Gore did. It's pretty amazing to see that. So we pushed and asked her about the next 10, 15 years in education. Where do you see it for elementary schools and specifically for the district?
Well, I think we have created classrooms that are far more student-centered, and I think that's the way to go. We're seeing the engagement with kids in the classroom. The teacher is the facilitator of learning, not sort of this sage on the stage delivering. Kids are engaging cooperatively and problem-solving. You'll continue to see more integration, I think, of content between reading, writing, math, science. I think there'll be a movement again towards more project-based learning. Technology is huge. I mean, that's the reality. If you've got kids have to leave school feeling proficient and confident in using technology, I think I see more of that happening in the coming years. And then for us, a big deal is we are really passionate about integrating the arts. We're not going to leave the arts behind, even though there's core content. It's a big deal. In fact, we're on August 13th and 14th, we're training every teacher in our district around arts integration strategies.
Awesome.
And that's really a tribute to our belief in the arts from our school board and the work that we've been doing in our district.
Well, your vision sounds like what they're building up in Castaic right now with Castaic High School and the integration and the partnerships in there with COC and everything else. So we had Melanie Hagman, who's going to be the new principal there, and we're now less than a year away from the opening Castaic.
Sure.
I'm going to throw you one really tough question, final question here, and that is, and I had Melanie do this as well, what year will Castaic High School beat Hart High School in football?
Wow. Well, first of all, since they're starting with ninth graders,
Yes,
it's
they're
going to
starting
take a
with
while before they have a program.
Yeah, but you did athletics, so
Yeah,
I
no,
just want to put you on the spot.
I'm going to say
commit.
it's going to take, let's say we're 2018. The chances will be 2022.
20. That's the same year she picked, so okay. They're very optimistic. Cody, I know, is in here, and he's our football guy here, so we're going to collect this for the football season now, and that'll become
And
the,
then what
the
do we
ongoing
win?
topic.
What do we
I don't know
what do
yet.
we-
We're going to come up with something.
Okay.
Something really, really cool. Well, Jeff, it was a pleasure meeting you. Your countdown school starts
A week from today.
a week from today, so you're a busy guy, and
It
we
is
look
very
forward to
busy.
seeing you around town. I know you, you're very accessible, and I look forward to talking to you again in the next few months as you dive into it and take things on.
Well, I just appreciate the opportunity to be here. You know, we are very excited about the work that's going in Newhall School District, and I just appreciate having an amazing governing board and the teachers and administrators and parents and students we have in our district. Absolutely amazing, top-notch people.
Awesome. Jeff Pelzel, the new superintendent for the Newhall Elementary School District, here with us on your hometown station, KHTS.
Santa Clarita's